Welcome back, pilots, to Squadrons Update. After getting the big news last week of new monthly content updates for the rest of this year, it's safe to say that things have surely been looking up for the game and its future. While we know the best is still yet to come in December, today we received the November update. Which, while sure, it may not be giving us any new ships or a server browser, it's still nonetheless an exciting update with a new map, 4 new components, new cosmetics, and even some major VR fixes. As always, we'll be covering all of this and more in today's video. And before we get into any of that, but a quick reminder, as if you do like these type of videos, then do remember to give it a like to show your support for not only this update series, but also the content within it. With that out of the way, let's get into it. The November update is here, and it's our first taste of some of the brand new content that Motive have cooked up for us right before the end of the year. Known technically as Update 3.0, the release notes are as you'd expect them to be, quite long, and that's of course a good thing. However, like before, we're only going to skim through the major stuff, so you can get about with your day and, experience playing the update for yourself. We're gonna first start off with some of the major general additions in this update, which is of course the addition of a new map in Foster Haven, which none other is best known as the opening map in the single player campaign. It'll be available in both Dogfight and Fleet Battles mode, bumping up the multiplayer map count from 6 to 7. And that's not all, as players on the next-gen consoles will finally be able to take full advantage of their new hardware with the next-gen improvements update, supporting up to 120 FPS and up to 4K on the Xbox Series X and S, while the PS5 will see improved visual quality and lighting. It goes without saying that the Xbox here gets the far better treatment thanks to its better specs. So Xbox Series players will certainly have an edge over everyone now, including most PCs with that smooth as butter 120 FPS. In controls, Hotas Support will now allow for devices with up to 128 buttons, up to 40 buttons per device. In addition to this, Motive have also fixed an issue of the Xbox One where Hotas controls would be disabled if the controller went to sleep. Now as for cosmetics, we surprisingly have quite a lot to go over here. This is because we get 2 new Starfighter paint jobs that have been added in with the Typhoon Squadron for the New Republic and the Interstellar for the Empire, the latter of which was inspired by the classic TIE Fighter Kenner toy. Other paint job additions include the Vandal TIE Fighter paint job, based off of Sabine Wren's iconic handiwork from Rebels, and also the X-Wing appearance based off of Luke Skywalker's Swamp Sunken X-Wing from Dagobah, which is a rather unique design if I may say so. For uniform sets, there are surprisingly more here than expected, especially for the Empire. But the New Republic get the Venture set, while the Empire get 2 in the Paladin and the Navigator sets. Granted, I would have preferred an even number between the factions, but hey, beggars can't be choosers, am I right? And lastly, the Empire will also get 2 alien face options in the Pantoran and the Zeltron pilot heads. Now, while I know some people may be confused on why the Empire is getting aliens, we also have to keep in mind that yes, the Empire was racist, but at the same time it didn't turn down help from aliens who wanted to fight for it. Most notably after the Battle of Endor, when the Imperial remnant numbers were lower, especially when the Empire was facing record-high defections. This is very similar to Nazi Germany, who had Indians, Arabs, and other people of color fighting for them in specialized military units. And I suppose this is the Empire's equivalent to that. Unfortunately, there are no customizable male and female options for both the Pantoran and Zeltron heads, so that's really the only downer I can see here. Also, keep in mind that a lot of the cosmetics that we're getting in this update are brand new and not even part of the other hidden cosmetics found within the game files listed under live service. So it's quite possible Motive may still have plans to release at least smaller content updates with those included next year. As, let's be real, there's no way they made all of those cosmetics only to keep them locked in that live service folder forever. Now for fleet battles, it seems that the morale has been an area that Motive have decided to tweak around a bit, as they've now reduced the morale gain for AI kills while on the defense from 4 to 3, and morale gains and losses now are no longer scaled based on the number of players present on the team. And regarding starfighters, the 4 new components have been added in the boost extension kit, prototype piercing torpedoes, ion rockets, and anti-material rocket turrets. Next to this, believe it or not, but the AWing has actually seen a nerf, with its shield generation being bumped down and rotary cannons being slowed down. And I gotta say, this is nice. The rotary cannons especially were one of the cheesier loadouts and made AWings a bit too OP, especially if they were piloted by an ace, so hopefully this will help shake up the meta for the better. That said, AWing players shouldn't feel too bad about this, as Motive have also nerfed the guided burst cannon, which before was the best counter to AWings in their tiny hitbox. So in balance, the AWing will still be a threat not to be taken lightly, just not as OP as it once was before. As for new user interface changes, your current skill rating is now shown as its value instead of a percentage of tier progression after playing a ranked fleet battle. In addition to this, UI messaging regarding matchmaking and players forfeiting in-game is a lot more cleaner now too. And lastly, there are some major VR changes and fixes in this update too, such as skyboxes now have an increased resolution for high-res VR headsets, adding an option for PC players to adjust their VR resolution scaling, there being an option for PC users too to use forward rendering, which potentially improves VR performance, and the game now using less intensive forward shading when using the low lighting quality setting in the graphics option, and as a result allowing VR to be used on mid-tier and even some lower tier PCs. So yeah, these are without a doubt some fantastic improvements made for VR, which still is arguably the best thing about Squadrons in my opinion. And the November update only just made it better. But until the next time, this'll do it for your Squadrons update. As always, if you enjoyed the video, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel to not only support it, but also keep up with Star Wars news, gaming, and canon lore released every week. And consider following me on Twitter and Facebook to never miss out on the latest Star Wars content. Thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.